1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Core, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN.
Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. This is a show that we promote activities of the alumni of University of Benin, men and women that have gone through the four walls of the tertiary institution, that are doing exploits at different end levels, and we'll bring them to this platform and we'll have conversations with them about their time at the school and what they are currently into. This is just a way to inspire current students and also alumni and the general public at large to always put in their best, to always do the work while they can. And on today's episode is quite dear to my heart because it's someone I've always wanted to bring on this platform. We have been on it for some time, but because of life generally, would not be able to sit down and have this conversation. But we thank God that today we are going to have it. It's someone that inspires a lot of us. We come from the same region, we come from the same place. We are quite passionate about our place. We are quite passionate about our people. We are quite passionate about leadership as well. And he's someone that he speaks the truth at all times, and he does this even with his talent. He's a filmmaker and a documentary photographer, one of the very best to come out of our state, one of the very best to come out of South Nigeria. He's Omoregie Osakpolor. Thank you very much, brother, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and Literature from the Faculty of Arts, University of Benin. I've been wanting this conversation. Right now, I don't even know where to start. Should we start from UNIBEN or should we start from the tremendous work you do with your lens, with your creativity and all? Maybe we'll just start from the University of Benin. You bagged your Bachelor of Arts in English and Literature in 2013, if I'm correct. Yes. But this is quite a regular question on this show. Was English and Literature your very first point of call? Was that your first choice, or you had other, while growing up, you had other intentions? Maybe you become a lawyer or something, or what was it for you?
I know it's usually when you are like growing up as children, at every point in our lives, we always wanted to be this or that, be a soldier, be an engineer, be a pilot, I think for me, I don't think I was different from every other kid too. At every point of my, I think at every point of my life as a child, I wanted to be I wanted to be different things at different points. Like at one point I wanted to be an engineer, at the point I wanted to be a lawyer, at the point I wanted to be this, and the point I wanted to be that. But I figured as I grew, like my interest just kept changing, until like at a certain point I wanted to just be. I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to be not just a writer, but someone that basically like write with the intention of like causing like making a social impact, So that was actually what I think why I was largely influenced by Professor Wole Soyinka, for me, I just felt, look, as a young, like, oh, you studied English and literature in school. I think I want to study that too and just become that. So yeah, so that was what I actually applied to come. I applied for it and I wanted to be that. I wanted to be Shoinka. That was just like,
okay. That's cool. That's quite interesting.
I wanted to be Shoinka, not sure, you know.
Yeah, and did English and literature actually helped you in shaping you to be a better writer? How did it, if it actually did?
You know, I think it actually did. You know, when you study English and literature, you are not just studying like art. You're actually studying history. You know, when you're studying history, you're studying. You know, of course, when you study history, you study politics and you study. So they're all like intertwined. So for me, the course actually helped me stay grounded, you know, in African, like, you know, knowing about myself as an African, knowing about the continent, knowing about like things that have happened and how they happened and why they happened. And of course, it actually helped me stay grounded as an artist. Now I'm a photographer, you know, that knowledge has greatly actually greatly helped me. So it didn't just teach me
at what point did photography
Yeah.
come into? Because you had only mentioned
You
you wanted to become a writer. At what point did you think photography can be handy, can actually blend with all this?
when I left school, I started. I think I figured out. I realized the power of storytelling. You know, as like because for me, having like been in the school like for 4 years, I learned a lot and I changed a lot just by reading the stories I read. You know, I actually learned more about African writers and the struggles, a bit African struggle and all of those, the politics and all that. So when I left, I was like, okay, this is really good. Storytelling is powerful, you know. And what is that thing that, what is that tool, that storytelling tool that people that tend to reach people faster than just books, you know, faster than just writing, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it was photography, film. You know, I'm like, okay, people are engaged with this medium more than like the written language. I mean, the written text and all that. So I became interested because I wanted to do the same thing I already wanted to do, but this time around,
if I may come in, is that you just actually touched on a point? Is that a new generational thing? Because people have been saying that maybe our generation or generation after us, we are more connected to graphics, we are more connected to videos than prints.
Yeah.
Was that something that actually still influenced your choice?
The truth is this saying in Benin, you know. So you know, I'll translate it loosely to you know, it's actually whatever is in vogue or trendy generation that you do, you know. So I don't know because you can't back in the days, or I don't think there was so much what I say there wasn't really much photography and film. You didn't even they didn't have access to it. So what they had was, of course, the books, the written text. So they basically got information with the medium that they had. You know, times have changed. We have like a lot of visual language has actually developed. You know, so basically using what we have right now, and most young people basically are on these platforms. You know, they basically use these things. So if you really want to talk to them, you know, in the language they understand, you use the language you understand to talk to them. And if you really don't want your message to get lost. So for me, that was actually what really influenced me and continues to influence my practice as an artist. At the moment right now, basically moved from photography to film, from film to interactive media, and to games right now, because I'm currently working with creating a new story for children, because I feel that's basically what they understand. So if I want to talk to them right now in preserving like African culture, for instance, you want to talk to these children, you want them to basically fall in love with African culture. You use the tools they already have, which is animations, video games, and all those things, which I'm currently doing at the moment. So for me, it's basically what the people require. I mean, the tool that the people basically already have access to, that they are comfortable with, that I basically use to tell the stories I want to tell.
Okay, let's talk more about your works. I've said it's not hidden. I'm a big fan of your works, more especially Nation Forgotten. That's a piece I actually have seen, and it's quite a beautiful one. But your works generally, they explore displacement, talk about contemporary issues, migration, aging, and those kind of things. Why did you choose this theme? Why is there any point of your life, either in UNIBEN or where you are from, Benin City, that has influenced you to say this is the type of documentary I want to put out there? Because most of your work talk about the issues of the society, talk about like the Nation Forgotten talks about pension and senior citizens and all that. What influenced that area that made you to specialize in societal issues, contemporary societal issues?
Like I said earlier, before I even went to University of Benin, before I selected the course I wanted to study, I had, as a young child, I had this old vision of changing the world. It was so naive, anyways. And I was quite early enough. I was introduced to great minds. The Shoyinkas, Chinua Achebe's, the Martin Luther Kings, and all of those things and all that. I too wanted to be like them. In fact, I said I wanted to. Then it was even the Shoyinka that actually made me to go because I wanted to study. So when I left university, having gone through those 4 years, learned the power of storytelling, learned like how to tell stories, got my mind more broadened as it concerns the African continent, the struggles, and what the future could be. So for me, it was this whole idea of what the future could be, that I've already had in my head, that actually influenced me to start photography. So I knew what I wanted to say, because I wanted to still address social issues with the hope of basically not, yes, we talk about like change, because change and all that, but not just necessarily that, but with the hope of basically just awakening us to the consciousness, to basically the things that we most times overlook, So that's basically what influenced me, and still continues to influence the kind of work I do right now. Either it's a cultural work, or it has to do with the social issue, like the pension, for instance. And there are basically things that I've suffered from, and I know a lot of Nigerians have suffered from too. But maybe, because sometimes, all right, the work of an artist, sometimes you might not necessarily you might be going through some certain things that you cannot really fully explain, all right? So the work of an artist or an anthropologist or also a sociologist, for instance, is to basically pinpoint this thing and actually explain it to you. This is why this is happening to you. And so when you become conscious, all right, we become conscious, we can actually now decide to say, okay, what is the solution? Can we actually put an end to this and all that? So that's actually the reason I create the work I do, and continue to do so, with the intention that if at all these things don't actually change right now, at least our children, they become documents, of how we lived, the kind of society, this kind of problems we faced as a people, and the kind of issues we faced, and how we're able to solve and not solve them. And hopefully the future generation might actually see, if the problems persist to the future generations, they might actually see that, of course, we tried, and they can take a cue on how we lived, and so they don't repeat our mistakes. So for me, that's like just what pushed me as an artist.
Yeah, that's quite interesting to hear. Still on your work, you actually worked on Ages Contrast. It was Emmy nominated, Inaccessible Cities. Yes. And I think it later won Gracie Award in 2022, if I'm correct. Yeah. And that film was done in Lagos. You did the film in Lagos. How was the project like? You have always said you're an ambassador of Benin City, but you're also a national pride. This time going to Lagos, doing that project in Lagos, and exposing a lot of people to what is happening. How did that project go for you, and how did it deepen your view on urban injustice?
So that work was done with Al Jazeera, AJ Plus. It's like another, like a subgroup, like a sub arm in for Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera, yeah.
It was done for Al Jazeera. And so for me, working on that project actually opened my eyes to things I did not actually know about before. Lagos is a mega city of about 10 million plus, about 20 million plus people. So yeah, then I learned about there's certain things that we are not, like I said earlier, about how we don't, things just happen in society, and we are just in our own corner of the society. We don't really know that things we don't really know actually happens to others, and for that, we're looking at how urban society is actually structured in a way that we do not actually consider the disabled people, people with tag disabled, So we build the world. So our societies are basically structured like from buildings, from architects and all those things are structured in a way that we think about ourselves alone. We don't think about those people that can no longer walk, like old people, people that actually walk on wheelchair, people that actually walk and use crutches and all that. We don't think about them. You see it in every city across Nigeria. We don't have walkways. You build a building. You have a building in a church. You don't consider people that could actually come.
Sorry to come in here. Interestingly, myself and my brother, I think it was yesterday we were just talking about it, that even our engineers, our project managers, they do not make provisions for most of these things in our buildings, in our malls. They do not factor, which should be the basic. It should be the basic. This should be fine. Sorry, please continue with your line of thought.
Every good design, every design should actually start with empathy. Empathy. If you're designing every design in whatever form, whether it's a phone or a tool you're going to use at home, and then it should actually start from like empathy. If there is no empathy, but we don't really have that here in Nigeria. We don't have that in Nigeria. You build bridges, you build walkways, you don't think about people with wheelchair. You build roads, you don't think about people that might not be able to cross these roads. There's really no, we don't have I don't think there's anything we don't have what we call it, there's anything like national empathy. We don't have it. It's not a thing. We don't have it. So the work actually, while working on that project, actually opened my eyes more to the injustice that we basically do, even unconsciously, and filming Olajumoke, who happens to be late now, God bless her. So yeah, the main character for that is actually late. An Olympia who represented Nigeria at the Olympics, at the Paralympics, and the All African Games, won medals for the country and all that. And seeing how after all of those things, right, there was really no national reward. There was no national recognition. There was no monetary compensation. A national hero that was poor. And so for me, there were two layers to that project. The urban injustice that we do to the people with disabilities and old people, and of course this would I say annoying national Nigeria, this phenomenon in Nigeria where we tend to always forget those that are actually brought honor to the country. If you are not training at the moment, you are basically just we easily forget. So for me, that project actually further opened my eyes to the injustice that we basically perpetrate as a country, and how we tend to leave people that we feel are not of the same physical and ability, how we tend to just leave them behind. So for me, that was what that project did, and for the fact that it got all those recognition, and it was actually really good for me working with that team, with the Al Jazeera team, and from it wasn't just Nigeria, it was from it was Nigeria, New York, and then Mumbai, and working there was actually and another way for me to experiment with another form of storytelling, which was a web-based documentary. It was really eye-opening for me, and one project that I'm so proud that I actually worked on. The awards and the nominations, of course, testaments to the impact of that project and all that. And I actually really hope that leaders, basically policymakers, actually sit down one day to basically have an actual look at that project and see, how we can actually better design our cities.
Is there a way? Because you just said our leaders, policymakers should look at it. And is there a way we can push it to them? Because this is our country. And we have seen over the years that our leaders, sorry to say, they don't really care, in quotes, quote and unquote. We have seen it in their policies, we have seen it in their actions, we have seen it in their words. However, is there a way we can push this kind of project and put it in their faces? Because they can just they can say that they've never seen it. That's why they have the professionals, they have the experts that do tell them, because I do not think that people around them are just dumb, that do not really know what is obtainable globally and what. And you talked about empathy. This is just the basic sign of empathy. Is there a way we can put this in their faces and ensure that they see it?
Yeah, I usually for impact productions like this, what we usually do is you try to get a lobbyist, you try to get a lobbyist. Okay, we need to get maybe, let's say, for instance, I need to get someone from my house, I'm from Orion. Anyway, I need to get in touch with the House of Rep member representing my constituency, or get in touch with this one representing this one, all that, through all of these channels. And you know how it is with Nigeria, and how difficult it is even to get access to our political office holders, which is another problem for when you for me as an artist, when you create works like these, how to do it, policies. I recently had an exhibition in Benin, and looking at on migration, on irregular migration, where I sent out invitations to like a lot of organizations, even the government and all that. Yes, I mean, thanks to the government, they gave me a place. The partner with me gave me a place, and to actually show the work and have conversations and all that. But then there were some people that I thought could have been there that didn't honor the invitation.
No push.
Exactly. There's just a little that I can actually do as an artist. Because on things like this, they're actually at the policy level. I can just, like I said, point it out. Like this is
you can suggest.
The treatment will have to come from, it has to be collective, So when you push and all that, and this is actually really not happening, it just a bit like kind of discouraging, but then it's something that you basically sworn to continue to do. You just have to do it. Yes, to answer your questions, we can actually have the easiest way, like I said, is basically, of course, to put it online and try to push it for people to see and all that. That's actually the easiest way, But the more common way to get this to these policymakers is actually like having private screenings, my representatives and all of those things and all that. So that's actually ways and all that. So me, I'm always open to, if you have access to these guys and they will really want to have conversations, I'm always open to working with people that actually have access to these policymakers, especially on issues like this, So for me, that's one major way.
Okay. Talking about screening, talking about your works on screens, you're based in Nigeria. However, your works is screening in Europe, in America. How do you keep your stories rooted in Nigeria while also making them resonate globally, where audiences who have not even been to Nigeria, it could resonate with them? How do you put that in place?
One of the things I learned in school is that every story is a human story. Every story is a human story. We all, whether you are Caucasian, you are Black, Latino, whatever, every story we tell is a human story, and the difference is just context, The same way you aspire for happiness here is the same way European aspires to be happy, the same way you fear, the same way they fear. So these are all emotions, and stories are usually like emotions. Storytelling is an emotional journey. So, and humans are emotional beings. So for me, I've been knowing this and all that. So my stories are usually because they actually now pertain to things that concerns us as humans. The pension situation in Nigeria, there are pensioners in every developed society, in every society. The difference is basically how different society treats their pensioners. So there are pensioners here in Nigeria, there are pensioners in the UK, there are pensioners in the EU, there are pensioners in Canada. The difference, of course, is actually how these pensioners are treated. That's the difference. So for somebody, for an audience abroad, recognize, oh, this is the pensioner, but then the treatment is different. So
Yeah.
that one connection, like, oh, this should have been this, but why is this? Of course, you basically connect with it because you know what it means to work for a period to give your youth to your society, and then at the end of it, the government does actually now breaks the contract. It's a contract. It's a contract. I do this, and after this, you give me this. Now you don't part of your contract, and your government breaks the contract. For somebody abroad, they might not be able to understand why, but then it happens. So that, or the issue of migration, the irregular migration, for instance, and yeah, we're all moving down from here. It's like a ripple effect. Colonialism, imperialism, poverty. The poverty comes, war comes, climate change. People leave their space because, of course, they can no longer. They feel threatened by war, or by hunger, or environmental issues. So they move. They leave their place, and then because there's not really no money to migrate. For those that actually even have the money, there's of course the visa, the evil Dracula visa policy of the West that cannot actually even make you want to go through the legal route. So what do? You go through the irregular route. So it's not just a Nigerian problem. It's not just a Nigerian problem. It's a global problem. So when I tell stories like that, you understand it, because everybody's involved. It's just like you cannot beat a child and then, like you say, you beat a child and tell the child not to cry. That's what's happening with the whole irregular migration thing, and all that. You basically go around causing wars across countries and all that, and the people basically suffer it, and they want to move down to the place, and then you say you shut the door against them. So it's like that. With stories like this, it resonates everywhere, and everybody basically feels it because we are all, in the end, it's the human society, irrespective of countries and borders and all of those things created by governments of the world. It's a human society. So so that's basically why I feel my work resonates with everybody that comes across it.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to UNIBEN again. You spent 4 years studying English and literature. What did the institution teach you? UNIBEN is a brand. It was not just about your course. It was not just, yes. I've had guests come here and they've spoken about the friendship they made in UNIBEN. Yes, a lot of things that UNIBEN imbibed in them, how they became strong, how they could speak up for themselves because they attended UNIBEN. For you, what did you take from UNIBEN outside your Bachelor of Arts degree?
Yeah, I'll say like the major thing is actually friendship. I learned friendship, and aside friendship, I think there was some sort of awakening that I actually got from UNIBEN, and that sort of even influenced what I say, the kind of work I do now, and basically how I see my world right now. Going through that school and meeting different set of people, and going through the course that I actually studied to, and the course taking me through different societies of the world. Actually sort of I opened my mind, to my world, better than I knew it before, which actually is still helping me like right now. So these are like two valuable things that I hold so dear, and I have, yes, UNIBEN and to actually thank for. And of course, moving on in the face of what I say, still finding a way to move on in the face of setbacks and obstacles. That I learned. These are, I think, 3 things that I think I really got from.
Lastly, are we expecting anything about UNIBEN? I know you have been out of the institution for more than a decade.
Yeah.
But has it ever crossed your mind and said, oh, there's something I actually experienced in UNIBEN, I think I want to write about it, I want to make a film of? Or is there any of your film, any of your work that you have done that it has been it was inspired by your time at the University of Benin?
Oh well, for now, actually none for now.
Okay.
But hopefully, like in the future, hopefully, you know how creativity works, how creative ideas work. It moves and all that. Even some things that you basically like just have in your mind, they could just be there sitting, and when the time comes for it, they come out. For me, the stories I tell basically pull me. I don't force it. I don't force it. So when it comes and it's basically time for it, I don't have a choice. I have to answer it. So I answer to my idea and the yearnings of my heart. When the time comes, I always just go for it and all that. So for now, like there's none, but hopefully, like in the future, hopefully.
Thank you very much. It has been really interesting speaking with you. Thank you for creating time to be part of this show. Thank you very much.
Well done with what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's really amazing. Well done.
Thank you, bro. I've been speaking with a filmmaker and a documentary photographer. Is Omoregie Osakpolor. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in English and Literature from the Faculty of Arts, University of Benin. Continue to subscribe to our channel, bringing more exclusive interviews of UNIBEN alumni. Bye for now.